Hello again and welcome to another episode of the Franchise Everything podcast where we talk about everything and anything franchising. And today I'm joined by Mark Crapper, who is the owner and franchisor of Lounge Repair Guys. G'day Mark, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Very well. Thanks for joining us here. So Lounge Repair Guys, we're going to talk about the franchise business model of the Lounge Repair Guys.
Yep.
So what does Lounge Repair Guys do for those who don't know the brand?
So we basically go into people's homes and we fix furniture that's been damaged in transit or in some way in the family home.
Yep.
Typically, we don't do full recovers. We're not upholsterers. We do repairs. So everything that's typically done in less than an hour is the most of the work. People buy brand new furniture from the retailer, and by the time it gets to the home, sometimes it's damaged. And so the retailer doesn't want the furniture back. They want it fixed, and the customer doesn't want to accept something that's not perfect.
That's obviously a worst case scenario, isn't it, for a retailer?
Yeah, absolutely. And so from a retailer's perspective, they've sold something for $5,000, and if it comes back damaged, then they've got to sell it for half price or something in a seconds market. So it's devastating for the retailer. But they ring us, we go out into the store and we fix, into the home, and we fix the product in the home. And 99% of what we do is done in the home, and we don't take the furniture away to fix it or anything. It's done then and there.
So what sort of venture? So it's a mobile business, is it? So describe what the business, how it does and how it works.
So the guys all have a van. They work out of the van. There's half of the group are single operators where they do their own bookings and they do their own service and so forth, and then they'll invoice the client and do the reports. And the other half will have maybe somebody in the office and maybe one or two guys on the road.
Yep. So they're a bigger business. So there's opportunity to be a bigger business other than just one man in a van or one person in a van.
Some guys are very happy just being a one-man band, and other people want to grow the business and grow it into a larger business, and that's what they're looking for.
So it's a being a mobile business, it's a lower entry cost. So tell me about the entry costs and on that sort of stuff and your take on that.
Yeah, no, the business typically costs $80,000 plus you supply your own van and just a white commercial van, and then we'll sign write it up and so forth. And we supply the tools that are required. There's not a hell of a lot of tools, but we give you the specialised tools, and then we'll train you up to do all the training that needs to be done. So as I said, we're not an upholsterer. We do repairs. So we get in, we do the basic type of work, and we'll train you up to do all of that. So it doesn't matter what industry you come from. You don't even really need to be much of a handyman. We'll teach you what you need to do, and that's all there is to it.
So you're pretty big on this mobile sort of stuff, because I know you've had a pretty extensive experience in franchising.
Yeah.
And you come from more of a fixed location sort of franchise and QSR, so quick service restaurant and food. Yeah. So what do you see as the difference, the key advantages? Because you how long ago did you buy Lounge Repair Guys? You bought it
over a year ago now.
Over a year ago now. So what do you see as the key differences there from all the franchising you've done previously?
Well, previously we had large retail shops that were in shopping centres, Westfields and so forth, and you'd go and lease a site for 5 years. You'd spend $500,000 fitting it out, doing underground plumbing works and so forth, and then you'd run the shop for 5 years, and at the end of 5 years the landlord wants a 20, 30, 40% rent increase because you're doing well, or they believe that they're entitled to it, and if you don't pay up and they all come to an agreement, they'll put somebody else in, and you've got to strip out that $500,000 shop fit and throw it away at your cost. At your cost, so you've lost everything that you put in there. If you're lucky enough to get it rolled over for another 5 years, which is quite common, it's not uncommon, then you go for another 5 years and so forth. But then you've got a lot of staff. You've got a rent, which is typically 20 to 25% of your turnover. Wages are 20 to 25% of your turnover or higher. And then you've got cost of goods. Well, in our business, typically half the franchisees don't have any wages whatsoever. We have no rent. Our total investment is $80,000. That gives you all the training and the territory and so forth, and you can obviously resell your territory down the track.
So you sort of see it basically as a lower risk.
Very, very low risk. We bring in our business, we provide 90% of all the leads. And so we liaise nationally with all the corporate brands. So all the big brands that you know in retail on TV every night, we deal with the Nick Scali's, King Living, Amart, all those types of brands through to this small one-off stores. And they'll feed the inquiries through to us, and then we'll distribute it out to the franchisees and their exclusive territories.
So I'm sure this is a thing on anyone's mind who's thinking of it, and the questions you get asked: how hard is it to do? So how hard is it to learn? Obviously, you said you do the full training and everything.
Yep.
So So you're not reupholstering a whole sorts of stuff,
No.
you're repairing it.
Yes.
So talk us through how that all happens.
Typically, we'll go into a place and there'll be some stitching that's coming apart on an arm, and the stitching will be hand stitched. So if you can thread a needle for a fishing line, for argument's sake, same sort of thing.
That's a great metaphor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we'll teach you how to hand stitch that back up. We got little videos and so forth. If it's broken leg inside a couch, and then we'll show you how to open it up, turn the couch upside down. And once you see inside a couch, most of them are pretty much the same. It's just the outside fluffery that makes it look different from one to the other. Some are made with steel frames, and others are largely wooden frames. And so we show you how to get in there, pull it apart, fix what we need to fix, because on the outside, the cover of the couch is what hides everything. On the inside,
it's ugly inside.
It's sometimes pretty ugly inside, or it has been after somebody's damaged it in some way.
Yeah.
But yes,
so it's not too hard to do. You think?
No, as I said, the majority of work's done within under an hour. Occasionally, there might be something that's 2, 3, 4 hours, but that's not the norm. And of those jobs, they're not something that we have specialists that do. We do more of the generic sort of work to repair. So if there's a scratch down the side of a leather chair or a couch, I should say, then we can patch that scratch, and then we can spray over that patch to blend the colour in. That's about the most technical we get. Everything else is trying to just correct the outside look of the furniture. And if the furniture's old, quite often, say, Granddad might have a recliner as his favourite recliner, and there might be literally a hole in the back of the recliner behind his head
was,
or in their elbows or their hands.
Yeah.
And that's all the body oils that are coming out of people's body when they're sweating over the years. And
that's a nice thought.
It is. And so people can look after their furniture, but over a period of time, the leather gets eaten through. And Granddad wants that couch recovered, and we're saying, well, we can redo those sorts of things for you, no problem. But sometimes it's cheaper to buy a brand new recliner, but Granddad wants that particular one. So you give him what he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the training is not too challenging to do it. So what about the skills required to it? So the demand there, I know we've talked previously about the skill sets and everything required and apprenticeships and all that sort of stuff. Talk us through the types of people that would do that sort of stuff in past and how that has changed over the years.
Well, it used to be that upholsterers were the ones that did an apprenticeship and 4-year apprenticeship, and then studied how to do it, and then worked on it for years, and became very, very good at what they do, and they're artists.
Literally the experts.
Yeah, and they do fantastic work, but it's one of those trades that are almost disappearing because there's nobody going through doing apprenticeships. TAFE are reducing the offering of upholstery workshops because there's nobody taking them up. So it's a dying trade, and so for us, a lot of the work that we're picking up from competitors is where they're retiring because there's nobody to replace them.
So you're sort of benefiting from the dying trade, essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that creates more demand for you.
Yeah, exactly. And so the upholsterers that are left are doing the big recovers of big, lovely Chesterfield couches and
much
so
more technical stuff and
doing a fantastic job. But they don't want to. They look at our work and say it's terrible. Why would you want to do that? Whereas for us, we think that's where the money is because we work on volume, and so it's good volume business.
So you said each job takes normally about an hour. So is that normally the typical time?
Yeah, typically.
So how many jobs in a day are people doing? Are they going from job and so they work in a defined territory? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so they'll buy a territory which will have a predetermined range that they work with, and so and then if we've got areas where there's no franchise owner in between, then we'll share the work between the franchise owners to split it evenly. But they own their territory.
So you talked also about corporate accounts. So
Yes.
So and you do the lead generation for franchise partners.
Yes.
So where's most of your work coming from, and how are you doing? So what's the residential split to corporate split, that type of thing?
Well, 70% of our work comes from the retail, the corporates. So your large retailers who've got retail shops around the country, and the reason why they like us is because they can pick up the phone, make one phone call to us, or send one email. And they don't care where the problem is. They just want it fixed. They don't want to ring 30 different people to try and find somebody who's in that particular area where the customer lives. They might have bought the couch from...
So like an independent or something? Or like
no, the customer might have bought the... independent repairer.
Yep.
Yeah, the customer might have bought a piece of furniture from, say, Brisbane and then relocated to Cairns. but that retailer doesn't have anybody who have any retail showrooms in Cairns.
Yeah.
So then his warranty he needs to cover it,
Mm.
and then he's trying to find somebody in Cairns. How do I find somebody in Cairns? Whereas that's our problem. We've got the network, and we can tell them what our postcodes that we look after,
Yep.
and we know that we've got guys that can go and do those areas, and we can answer their questions straight away and say yes, we've got that covered, or not.
So is that part of your pitch? So as a franchisor,
Mm.
when you're saying that you're generating leads and stuff for the
Yeah.
most part for your franchisees, is that part of your thing? So you're managing those key accounts with
Yeah.
key retailers and so on.
Yeah, so our job is to basically liaise with all the national retailers, and keep working with them and trying to make their life easy to get work done, which ultimately feeds work to us. So we keep in contact with those guys. We also do all the Google AdWords and the advertising on the internet and all the social media and so forth, so that we get private jobs. So a lot of times people have got couches that might be 10, 15, 20 years old, and they like that couch or the look. They want it repaired, and it's too small a job for an upholsterer, but it's perfect for us. And so we do all of that. So probably 30% of our work is coming from private,
and the rest
private
of it's all the
customers.
corporate accounts.
Yeah.
So is that like insurance and everything like that? Does that come into it? Does insurance claims and everything come into it as well?
It does to a degree. Yeah, not too much of our business is insurance at this stage, but it is there.
Yeah.
So,
And the other thing I was thinking about, what sort of changes, so ongoing training, and what sort of impact does, say, technology and new materials have? Does it change much, or does it all pretty much the same, like adhesives and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
It's all pretty similar then at the
not a lot changes in industry, and it's not fast-moving changes.
I suppose that's good.
Yeah. The best part for us is the amount of electronics that are coming in. A lot of couches now have got cup warmers. They've got light over the top of your shoulder, phone chargers, Bluetooth, all sorts of things like that, which we love. And we go and we fix all that sort of stuff. So we teach our guys how to work out what's working, what's not working, and then how to repair it. Same with recliners are a great part of our business. And now what's growing for our business is the mobility market, which is the seniors who have got lift chairs or electric recliners, or beds that are electric beds and so forth that we will fix that have problems from time to time. So that's becoming a bigger part of our business as well.
I never thought about that. So I suppose the more complex some of those couches and everything come, because even when you go to a showroom now, you can put your phone down and charge and everything. Those things are going to break, aren't they?
Eventually. So it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, no doubt. Great way to finish. Excellent. Thanks for telling us all about the lounge repair, guys, Mark. I much appreciated.
No worries. Thank you.
And that's it again for another episode of Franchise Everything Podcast. Once again, a different change of pace this time, something a little different, a different type of franchise. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like this stuff, share, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff there. And we'll catch you in the next one soon.